Hi, I'm Sheila with Inspirational Teaching Solutions. Today I'm going to show you a unique and interesting strategy that I learned at the NABE conference in Las Vegas. NABE stands for the National Association of Bilingual Educators, and it was in Las Vegas this year, and it was a very inspiring conference. It was a week long, just session field conference, and I learned a lot of strategies which I'm going to be sharing with you, and I'm also going to be taking those same strategies and incorporating them into my lesson plans that are going to be available on our website. But this one is called Take a Picture. And what you do is you take a large piece of cardstock. I I just went ahead and took and cut some cardstock rather than ordering the cards. You can apparently order already done cards, but for expense and cost with 125 students, I just decided it was cheaper to just buy a ream of the cardstock and just cut it myself on our giant paper cutting machine. So what you do is you take a big piece of cardstock and you have the students fold it into three kind of fan fold so that it will stand up. You want it to stand up. And so, and it doesn't have to be even, but you're going to have those students who are going to insist that it is. And so when you open it up, it should be like this. And then what you do is you take a storybook, so it can be used all age students. So you can use a short storybook, you can use different documents or whatever. What I plan to do with it in my history classroom is I think I might want a potentially longer piece rather than this shorter one. Maybe cut my cardstock the other direction rather than this way. And then that way I will have more of the panels for students to use. And so what you do is you have the students read, or you read. When you first start doing this, they recommend that you read first. So you're reading the story to the student, or you're reading the little document, and you divide the story into sections to go along with your panels. So if you have a book, a little storybook for younger students, then you would make sure that you read the first third, the second third, and then that last third so that the students can use the panel fully. Now what I'm going to do with my older students, I'm going to have each panel be potentially a different document. Most of my lessons include 3 primary source documents or a primary source and 2 secondaries or whatever. And so each panel would be a different document for my older students. And so you're reading this information to them, and then you stop and you tell the students to take a picture. And so what the student does at that point, I've heard people sometimes call it stop, drop, and write. In this case, it would be stop, drop, and draw. So the student will draw pictures as to tell what's going on. So if they're in a story, at this part of the story, what is happening? What is the name of the character possibly? So, and it doesn't have to be fancy. If you look at my example, you can see that I use stick figures and symbols and things like that. This was about a story about a person who he was extremely lazy and he didn't want to work. But he liked to spend lots of money, and he ran up a large credit card debt, and the police came to arrest him for not paying his bills. And the judge tells him that he has to go and get a job, or the judge is going to put him in jail. And the interesting thing about this is I went to this conference months ago, and I still remember the story simply based on these images. So how powerful will that be in a classroom? It's just amazing. And so you do that with each segment of the story. So you stop, you have them draw, and you can see mine. This one is the beginning. And here is that middle section. Actually, the story, the guy, he sneaks out and he gets on a train and he tries to leave. And the interesting thing is the judge is on the other train, and the judge sees him. And So in the passing, the judge sees him, and then he goes on and he gets in trouble. The judge goes to talk to the workplace and says, "Where's the guy?" The guy's name is UB, and they said, "Well, where's UB?" And we haven't seen him. He quit, and so the judge knew where he was, and so UB got in trouble. And so what the students do after they have their 3 panels, then you have them turn over to the back, and you can have them write a summary. For younger students, it could just be a couple of sentences or whatever. For older students, you could have them write a paragraph maybe, but what would be more challenging for older students is to make them write a 1-sentence summary. And that is much harder than people realize. They had us write a 1-sentence summary, and it was tough. And now I actually understand why my students don't like the dollar. I have a dollar exit ticket where each word is worth 10 cents, and students have to sum up the lesson, and it has to equal $1, and it can't go over the dollar, but it can't be less than like 90 cents. And so the students really have a hard time with that, and they really work to make sure that their vocabulary is very concise. And that's what we want. We want our students to be solid writers, and we want them to have that academic language. So I'm hoping that you enjoyed this fun little strategy called Take a Picture, and I will be sharing more strategies with you that I gained from the NABE conference in the future. For now, I'm Sheila with Inspirational Teaching Solutions. Until next time.